You want to try and set that up while I'm getting things going? Okay. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Hopefully my microphone is still good. I turned it on an hour ago or so. Sorry that we're late, y'all. We had a very important visitor. Grandpa Reg came in for a 10:30 visit, which of course is the time that I was supposed to start with y'all. So I'm sorry, but I chose my company over you all. But we're here now. It's Friday. Friday, as they say on the radio. Fridays are always fun, always good, appreciated. I have to admit, though, I've had a good week off work. We traveled to Kelowna, which is west of us, about 12 hours, with a car full of children. Matt traveled as well. We all did. Our whole family went. There was about 80 people, Elle, at your wedding. We all went to Kelowna and watched our precious Landon and her precious Ryan get married on Sunday and had quite a party at the Hotel El Dorado. Quite a beautiful place, right on the water there. It was a rooftop wedding. We had a wonderful, wonderful time. But that's not why you've all come today to hear about my week past. You are here for Stash Busters, so welcome to our Stash Buster series. I'm your host, Bradie. Today we are working on the lovely Be Bold quilt that you see on display here behind me. It was designed by our very own YEG quilter, Sheila van der Linden. And if you want your free Be Bold pattern, I'd like to invite you to visit our website at sparrowquiltco.com, where you can put in your email, your name and email, and we will send you an email with the pattern attached so that you can follow along. Have you chosen all your fabrics yet, guys? If not, that's okay. You still have time to get your free pattern and get things chosen. We've been a little bit leisurely with this one. We took last Friday off, so I hope you weren't sitting there at your computer screen waiting for us as we were all holidaying out west. What I have done is gone through my fabrics. On page 2 of your pattern, you are going to find block assembly directions, and you're going to take all your squares and you're going to pair them up with, for example, the darkest gray. My darkest gray I have matched with my red, and I'm calling those A. My second darkest gray I have paired with orange, and I'm calling those blocks B. And I've got a light kind of heather gray with a orangey yellow. Those are blocks C. And then I've got a floral gray with a yellow, and we're calling those blocks D. Today I'm going to show you how to prepare a template and how to cut out all of our quarter circles. So I'm going to start with my A's. And what you will find in your pattern is there's one sheet of paper that has got 2 quarter circle templates. You are going to cut them out separately, and then we are going to use some template plastic, and we're going to draw the shapes on there and cut those out. It's easier to cut out a bunch of fabric with a plastic template versus a paper template. If you do not have template plastic, then of course just use your paper. You may find that you're slicing off slivers as you cut, so it might not hurt to photocopy this once or twice, just in case you lose some accuracy while you're cutting. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is cut these out, and these are not fabric scissors. Don't worry, I'm not using my good scissors. These are some older scissors that have been lingering around for a while. Hi, Cindy, and hi, Kay. Where are you watching from today? I always like to see where everybody has joined us from. It's amazing to me how quilters all over the world can tune into Facebook and watch this show. And the good thing is about this, that the videos just live on Facebook, and we also put them onto our website. We also put them up on YouTube, and you can join us at any time of day. So if you're unable to join us live first thing in the morning, then don't worry, you can just watch it later when you get home from work or whenever is convenient for you. Just kind of like PVR, you know, you're going to record your shows. Don't worry, we record it for you and we just post it there online. You can watch it whenever it works for you. Now, I also have to remind you that this pattern is free while we are actively doing these videos, but once we start a new project, we replace that free pattern with the next free pattern. So Hopefully you get in on it while it is still free, but if you do not and you've missed that free opportunity, then the patterns will be for sale on our website at sparrowquiltco.com. You can always get them, even if it's a little bit later. And we do allow it as a free PDF download. You don't have to wait for it to arrive in the mail, which is always nice. So I'm almost done cutting out these 2/4 circles. Now, the reason that there's two sizes is because we are going to cut a 1/4 square out of our bright color, and we're also going to cut a 1/4 square out of the darker color. But this one needs to be a little bit smaller and this one a little bit bigger to make sure that everything fits together properly. We have to account for that seam allowance and whatnot. So that's why we've got the two different sizes. So we're going to now draw on the template plastic, and I'm going to use the corner of the template because it's already a perfect 90-degree angle, and that kind of just makes sense to me. So what I'm going to do is match that into the corner, and then I'm going to draw this arc with a Sharpie. I need a bit more contrast here. I can't see quite well enough, so keep that in mind when you're doing yours. Put it on a dark surface so that you can see well. Now, as you all know, we like to do a giveaway. So in a short time here, I'm going to start using my fancy Ergo rotary cutter, and that's going to be my prize today. So how do you win the prizes? You're going to share this video. Underneath, you'll see the option to like, comment, and share. You're going to share the video, and that will let all your Facebook friends know that you are enjoying this video with your quilting friends, and maybe they will join in the fun. All right, so I've got this right in my corner, and I am going to draw the outer edge, the arc. Do you mind if I show that? No problem. And then right on that template plastic, I'm going to write 4.75, and I'm also going to label this template 1. And that's going to avoid me from getting confused. I was calling myself a fruit fly brain, but I saw some beautiful hummingbirds. Here, Al, if you want to show that. I've decided I'm a hummingbird brain because they're way prettier than fruit flies. Hopefully you can all see that. Landon is just showing you there how I've drawn the 1/4 circle and how I've labeled it 4.75, and it's template number 2. The next one I will do, I will label it 5, and it will be template number 2. Thank you. So remember, the 4.75 is what we're going to cut out from our larger 10-inch squares, and the 5-inch is what we're going to cut out from our smaller squares. So let's arrange this in the other corner here so that we, and by we I mean me, can draw this in. Just waving hello to Ryan there, Mr. Newlywed. Landon changed her name on Facebook today, so that threw me off a little. She's usually Landon Sparrow. Now she's Landon Halliday. If anybody's interested in seeing any of our pictures from the wedding, you can check out Matt's personal Facebook, Instagram, or mine. He's Matt Sparrow, I'm Bradie Sparrow. We posted all kinds of fun videos. Our 2 smallest sons spent the night, 3 smallest sons, sorry, spent the night dancing like little fiends. Like, I'm terrified to tell them that nightclubs exist now. So there's some really, really fun footage and photos from the wedding, if you're interested. Okay, we're labeling this one 5.0, and it is template number 2.
Texas, Nebraska, Arizona, Oklahoma.
Welcome, everybody, from all over the place. My goodness. From Edmonton. Well, welcome, everybody, no matter where you're watching from. Welcome. Again, I am going to use some older, junkier scissors. These are not my good fabric shears. We definitely don't want to be using our good fabric shears for cutting template plastic. It's quite thick, and we all know what happens to our scissors when we cut random weird things. They get dull, and they don't work very well anymore. Okay, so here is another tip of advice for you. This curve that I have drawn on here is just outside the edge of the paper. So what I'm going to do when I cut it, I'm going to actually cut the line off. I'm going to cut on the inside of my marked line, and that will give me a piece that matches my template exactly, rather than being a hairline bigger. We all know that accuracy is very important in quilting, and the more accurate our cutting is, the better results we're going to get in the long run. So if we make sure that we cut very precisely, things are going to turn out a little bit better. And I know from personal experience that even a hair worth of extra fabric will build up over the width of a quilt to make your quilt too big. And I don't want that to happen to you. So keep that in mind as you're cutting out. And like I said, cut on the inside of the line. You're actually going to be cutting the marker line off. Slow and steady wins the race here. Now, if you're just joining us, welcome. We are working today on the quilt you see behind me. It's called Be Bold, and it's designed by Sheila van der Linden. You can find her as the YEG Quilter on social media. If you would like to download that free pattern, please visit us at sparrowquiltco.com. Put in your name and your email, and we will email you with a copy of the pattern. Landon, is the link above the video or? Okay. The easy way is to just click the link above this video. Now, I always like to try and catch you up on all the housekeeping. So another little detail is that we are doing a giveaway like we always do. Today I am giving away one of the ergonomic rotary cutters that I'll be using in just a moment here. So if you're interested in that, you're going to share this video, and that will qualify you to be entered into the draw. We'll choose a winner at the end of the show at noon my time. Okay. So I'm going to cut 2 pieces at a time. I don't want to cut too many layers. This isn't a true ruler. There's no thickness to it, so things will slide around a little bit easier. I'm just going to do 2 layers at a time to make sure I try and stay as accurate as possible. Those I can set aside. So I'm going to start with my larger squares. And the color I'm using for this is called Scout. And what's going to happen here is I am going to place this template in the bottom corner of my fabric. I'm going to make that cut, and then that little quarter circle is garbage. I'm only going to keep the outer portion of this fabric. I call those the L. That's the outer portion of the block, and then the inner is just going to be a quarter circle. But when you hear me talking about it, that's what I'm talking about it when I say that's the L. I often call Landon L, but today that's not what I'm talking about. So this is the 4.75. Okay, I'm using template number 1 to cut my larger square. So I'm going to set that right in the corner there. And I am going to place my fingers at the 2 outer points, and I'm just going to ride that curve with my rotary cutter. Now slow and steady, because it's not a true ruler. You don't have an edge that's holding you in place. You are going to be able to cut right through this template plastic with your rotary cutter if you're not careful. So I want you to really take your time, and remember what I said earlier, slow and steady wins the race. And we don't have to recut things. No one seems to like that. So I'm just following that curve around. There we go. Good. Okay, Landon's setting up a close-up camera right now so that you'll be able to have a better point of view, but I'm just going to hold this up. This is the part that I'm discarding, so that goes over here into the scrap pile, and this is my L. Okay? That's what you're going to be left with. This is the piece you're keeping. So let's just start building a little pile of those. I have 6 in total of these, so it's going to be about 3 cuts altogether. Is it 6? Yeah. Oh no, I haven't seen them. Do you want to use mine? I've got a little blue zipper pouch in my purse. You can take my headphones out of there. The second iPad echoes and I can hear my voice with a slight delay. It makes my eye twitch. So we got to put the headphones in so I don't have to hear myself. I'm already loud enough. They're not in there? Were they just thrown in my purse somewhere? That's odd. Hopefully we can find them. Otherwise they're all going to be laughing at my twitchy eye. It's more for my own mental well-being. All right, so again, I've got my template lined up right in that corner, and I am going to very carefully cut that arc. Geez, I keep shifting it around. All right. Remembering, slow and steady wins the race. Make my way around this little template. So how many of you have sewn with curves before? I've done a little bit in the past, not a lot. Matt's really good at sewing curves. He doesn't even need pins. Did a whole Drunkard's Path quilt years ago. Still have that one. It lays on the couch. Yeah. Just turned up the other day. It's always funny when I look through Facebook, I can see old quilts that aren't around anymore. And sometimes I'm like, good, I hated that one. And other ones I'm like, oh, I missed that one. Where did it go? All right, so this will be my last set in this color. And then we will switch to the second template and we'll do the coordinating, we'll do the fabrics that are paired with this one. So those are extra. I'm not sure why, but I'll put them off to the side. So those are my outer corners. And like I said, I call those the L. This is why, because it's the outer corner of the block. I'll put them down here. That's the outer corner of the block. So that's why I call it an L. And you can see there that I have cut out that curve. Can they see that okay? Good. All right. So now I am going to take template number 2, and I am going to take the 5.5-inch squares that I have paired with that fabric. And again, I'm going to do 2 at a time. I just want to make sure that everything stays as accurate as it can. And it's also my preference to cut these with the fabric right side up, just to be safe. Just to make sure that everything is cut correctly. I don't like to just assume that I'll be able to give something a quarter turn or a half turn and make sure that it fits. If I cut it with the right side up, then I know that everything is accurate. So now I have switched to template number 2. Template number 2, and I've labeled that one 5.0. And I am going to cut this quarter circle out of these little squares. Again, I am placing my fingers in those outer corners to hold things in place while I make this cut. And again, I just really want you to take your time with that, okay? Are we still on the close-up there, Elle? Okay. I'm just going to shift a few things around here. So this outer, closer to me, okay? This is how these are going to fit together. Now, right now, you can see the red is a little bit bigger than the background, but that's to allow it to sew in properly with a seam allowance. Okay, so that is what we're going to be dealing with here shortly, but I've got a bit more cutting to do. Line up these bottom left corners so that everything is square to one another. There we go. What's that? Oh, okay. So in case you have joined us late, Welcome to our Stash Busters series. Stash Busters is an effort designed by us to help you use up your stash, help me use up my own stash, because let's admit we've all got more fabric than we probably need. And you can get your free pattern that's called Be Bold by visiting the website sparrowquiltco.com, or you can click the link above this video. If you want to be entered into the draw to win a ergonomic rotary cutter, then go ahead and share this video. That's what qualifies you to win, and we will choose a winner here at noon my time in about half an hour when we wrap up the show. All right, so this time I'm going to try dispersing my fingers across that entire curve. The last one I could see things were moving just a little bit, but I definitely want my fingers to be at the points to hold things down really well. And then I spread my fingers out across that curve to make sure that everything stays nice and flat while I'm cutting. And I did mention earlier, I'm just cutting through 2 layers at a time. I am not in a big hurry. With this one, I'd rather see things be nice and accurate. So I've got 2 more reds to cut, and then we can move on to the next colorway. We'll move to blocks B. And I'm using the lines on my cutting mat to make sure that I've got things nice and square. I don't know if it really makes a difference, but it makes me feel better. Makes me feel like I am doing a better job, and that's all that matters. Here we go. All right. Lay this out nice and flat and cut around that curve. There we go. All right, so that outside on the smaller blocks, that's all just scrap. You can just get rid of all of that. And now I have got my A blocks prepared. So I'm going to layer those up and keep the A on them so that I can stay somewhat organized. There we go. Okay, A's are complete. Let's move on to B. Now the most important thing to remember is to make sure that you're using the proper template. So I'm going to set aside the orange with template 2, and for these I'm just going to use template 1. This time we're doing 6 and 6 again. So let's see how many I've got. 2, 4, 6, good. And I am just doing 2 layers of fabric at once. Hi Anna, welcome to the show. All right, so I've gone back to template number 1 that measures 4.75, and I'm just going to line that up in the bottom left corner and make my cut. Now this template plastic is pretty handy. I've used it for lots of different things in sewing. I've used it in projects to give some stiffness to, say, a bag or something. I've used it lots for this application as a template, but it's just handy stuff to have on hand. Again, that quarter circle, that's trash or scrap. We're not using that in this project. I wish it worked out that you could cut that and just swap it with another one and you could use those pieces, but they don't fit. They're not big enough. Boy, it's quiet in here today. No machines running at all. All right. These are my next 2 layers. Good. It's always nice when it cuts up just the way you want it to. You don't have any troubles with it. All right. Let's put that down in the bottom left corner. We'll cut that arc. Maybe I should put some slip stop on the back of this so that it stays where I put it. If you're having trouble with it sliding around, that would be a good suggestion to help you keep it in place. Okay, so now I have 6 L's. That's my L, so that's my outer corner. And now I'm going to cut my quarter circles, which are from this orange fabric. And we're going to switch to the 5.0 template instead of the 475. And again, I've got 6 of those. So let's turn them so that they're right side up. And then we don't have any oopses. Nobody likes oopses. There we go. Come on now. This fabric is so cute. It's called Kisses, and it's got these little X's all over it. I love them. Love those little X's. Okay, so I've gone back to my 5.0 template. This is template number 2, and I am cutting that now from my 5.5-inch squares. I really do recommend reading over the entire pattern. I am really, really, really bad for pounding ahead and not reading the whole thing. And I've been working on a quilt at home. It's a Union Jack, like a little British flag. Oh, guys, the mistakes I've made on that one because I'm not reading. So take the time, read ahead, make sure you know what's what before you start anything. Because not only did I make mistakes, then I had to troubleshoot those mistakes and figure out what I did wrong and how to fix it. I'm back on track now, but just causes extra work that you don't need. So just read carefully and follow instructions. Do as I say, not as I do. All right, here we go. There it is. Oh, might be time for a new blade. I'm leaving a string here and there. All right, last orange to cut. Now, have you had a chance to share the video so that all your Facebook quilting buddies can tune in as well? Remember, it's sharing that gets you qualified to win the prize, which is this really great rotary cutter that I'm using today. All right, so these are going to fit right in there, and that's a nice good contrast. We're going to see those really well. I'm going to put my B label back on these so that I know that's what these are. I really like how Sheila does that in her patterns. She assigns certain letters or numbers to a specific part of the quilt, and that just helps us all stay on track. I think anything we can do to stay organized is a good thing. All right, so if you're just tuning in, welcome. This is the Stash Buster series. Today we're working on the Be Bold quilt that you see behind me. It was designed by Sheila van der Linden. You can find her in social media under the name YEG Quilter. YEG is Edmonton's airport code. Don't forget to share this video so that you can win a rotary cutter. We'll be giving that away at the end of the show. And I am going to get back to my C blocks. This one is the greatest number. We have 12 bigs and 12 smalls. So we'll be cutting a little more of these.
For circle tips,
Yes.
Joe says using sandpaper grips helps a lot with the template.
That's a great suggestion, the sandpaper grips.
Patricia says she used a hole puncher to make 2 holes to pin the fabric so it doesn't have
Oh, what a good idea. Pinning with or using your hole punch to put some holes in it so that you can pin things together. That's smart. Nice job. What a good idea.
rather than holding.
Sometimes when we're quilting, it feels like we could just use a couple more hands, and all these little tips that people share just makes a world of difference sometimes. Guess I could have pressed these first. I can see that I used them straight off of the bolt. That's okay though. All right, so now I need to remember, let's go back to template 1. We don't want to be cutting the wrong size because then we have to cut more fabric or buy more fabric, and that's not convenient. So I'm back to the 4.75 template, or template number 1, and I'm just going to cut this corner off of this block. There it goes. Set that over there. It's nice to line things all up, kind of assembly line like when you're doing quilting and sewing. And you can progress quicker through your project. So we all know sometimes this takes a while to do all these things. So whatever we can do to make us faster is good. Ba 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 ba.
Why can't you cut more than 2 at a time? Is there a particular reason?
I'm only cutting 2 at a time because I don't want to lose my accuracy. I was just cutting through 2 and I wasn't quite getting through all the layers. I'm not pushing down as hard as I normally do because I don't want the blade to go astray. So I'm just being slow and steady to ensure my accuracy. Make sure that things don't slip and slide around too much. I find if I go with too many layers, I'm not cutting through everything either. Like, I guess I'm just trying to be slow. Slow but accurate, that's my big goal here. We also have some quarter circle templates. They didn't quite work with this project, but they've got a true ruler edge to them. If I was using those, I could cut way more layers because it would be holding everything in place way better. There we go. One little string. Missed another one. All right. Just a reminder to put all your fabrics right side up just to make sure that you cut things the way you intend to. I'd hate for something not to work out. I've done it with triangles in the past where I cut my fabrics upside down and they didn't work out the way they were supposed to, so then I had to cut more. So now I try to just make it a habit to cut everything right side up, and then I know I'm getting what I'm hoping to get. So Landon said that she had asked a question there. What are your tips for cutting or piecing with circles? So please feel free to leave those comments and suggestions. We'd love to hear them. This quilt, how big is it going to be? Let me check. I'm sure it's in our lovely pattern. This quilt is going to be 67 by 84, so a good size. Yeah, nice generous lap size quilt. Hey, it's Adelie from 3 different numbers. One of my kids is texting. Just reply and say, hey, what's up for me if you don't mind. I've got the newlywed here in the office with me today. She's my little producer. Template number 1, yes, that's what I need. For those of you who maybe joined a little bit late, that's why we were away last week. We had a wedding out in Kelowna, which is, turns out, about a 12-hour drive west of us. And we all had a really wonderful week. But you know, you make that 12-hour drive and you need a day to recover. And then we had a day to get ready for the wedding, and then we had the wedding, and then you need a day to recover from that. And then we had another 12-hour drive home. So there was a lot of recovering in the past week. It's not bad, but it takes more out of you than you expect.
Paula says her tip for circle piecing is don't do it.
Paula, you said?
Yeah.
Thanks for the tip, Paula. And I appreciate your honesty. Stay away from the circles. So again, yep, I like that one. Deborah, you said? Yep, smart, Deborah. I agree. Slow and steady is always the best way. That's kind of weird. Ba-ba. Oh, tonight. So now that all that excitement is over with the wedding, I've got a young lady graduating from grade 9. I've got another young lady graduating from university. So more exciting events ahead, but once June is over, we are in full relaxation mode. Just kidding. We'll still be doing lots of Stash Buster videos. We have so many quilts to do for Stash Busters. It is actually pretty exciting. So now we're cutting these quarter circles out of our 5.5-inch squares. I am switching to template number 2, 5.0 template, okay? Make sure that you are using the correct template for the job because we're switching back and forth between 2 different templates. The actual quarter circle needs to be a little bit bigger than the circle that we cut out of the background. That's how we account for our seam allowance and make sure that everything's going to fit together properly. All right, so this time I've got 12 of these, so I got 6 little piles of 2, and I'll lay those out so hopefully you can see them. Oh, I like that they're both the same print. These are a shade, a Riley Blake shade, so they've got a little bit of texture to them, and they're kind of just a tone on tone. I think that looks really nice together.
He says she still can't believe he planned a wedding and moved into a new retail space.
Oh, and those are just the things we're admitting on screen. We're always juggling about 20 things at any given time.
Paula says you were really very good with instructions. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you guys. I really appreciate the compliments. I think it's so helpful sometimes for people to see things, and I just know from teaching my children things over the years that repetitiveness is good and being very clear and to the point also very good. But I do appreciate your compliments. Thank you. It's not always easy to teach things. So I'm just being very careful that I line up the corner of that template right with the corner of my square so that I don't end up with a bigger or smaller quarter circle than I need. And again, just a reminder that slow and steady is the way to tackle any job. There's also that saying to measure twice and cut once, which I think is excellent advice. I tend to really be cautious with my fabric, and Matt likes to remind me that it's not gold, but they're not giving this stuff away, right? I don't like to be wasteful with it. All right, last couple, and then we can move to our D blocks. Whew, my tummy's already grumbling. Getting hungry already.
Laura says she's a show me kind of girl for learning scissors.
I appreciate that too, Laura, because I can read instructions. Well, I was just admitting earlier how I always mess up patterns. If I can watch someone do it, I definitely retain it much better. And then doing it myself makes all the difference in the world. I definitely learn better that way. Okay, so we're just lining up that bottom left corner nice and square with the fabric. Then I'm going to hold it down, and I am spreading out my fingers as best I can across that entire curve. And then I'm just going to chop off that outer corner of the block. All right, there we go. I don't know what that flaw is in there, but I have flaws too, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. Not going to break my heart if there's a little bit of a smear on the fabric there. It almost looks like a funny color of fiber got woven in there by accident, but gives it some personality, just like my flaws give me personality. All right, so let's pin those back together. These are our C blocks. We want to keep ourselves as organized as we can so our hummingbird brains don't lose track of everything. Get those out of here. Hi, Janet. Thanks for joining us. So now I'm into my D blocks. I'm going to put my 5 template with my little guys and put my 4.75 template with my big ones. These ones I think there's less of, only 4 this time, so that will be quick. Ba, 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 ba. Da, 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 da. How are we doing for time, honey? 11:49. Okay, good. I didn't think I would get to any sewing today, and I was correct. That's okay. See these clear plastic templates? It's easy to lose them. Good thing I wrote on it. That helped a little bit. Line that up in my bottom corner. Oh, I hear some hoodlums in my store. I call my children hoodlums. I shouldn't call other people's children hoodlums.
She understands the joke. Like she had 9 children. The youngest is 24.
Oh my, youngest is 24. Wow. I have hope. Our youngest, we have 10, and our youngest is 6, and he is little Mr. Bossy Pants. Getting him all ready for school today, and he's got all his wedding clothes stuffed into his backpack. I think his grand plan was to go to school and dress up again. So, since he was covered in pie from that evening, and I hadn't had a chance to wash them yet, I had to break his little heart. But at least he gets to wear his wedding shoes today at school. They don't match his outfit even one bit, but that's okay. I had to cut my templates. I just used a piece of template plastic, and I don't think, I think I have some extras. I can add them to the website a little bit later, but I don't have them on there currently. And you don't need a lot. These ones are oversized. You could get the 8x10 sheets, and I think you would have enough. Yeah, you would. It's 5 and 5, less than 10. That one's 4.75, but now these are solid, so I'm not going to worry too much about right side up. It's a nice, bright, sunny yellow. Minions. There was a post on Facebook yesterday. Well, I'm sure it's been around for a while, but some mother had posted pictures or video of her children doing chores on line, and I am quite a fan of that. I don't think that humans turn 18 and magically know how to maintain a home, so they need to learn throughout their life how to do chores and whatnot, and I just really applaud that. So, Minions, that's cute. It would definitely apply in my house. All right, so I'm remembering to switch back to template number 2. It's labeled 5.0. I don't want to cut the wrong size out of these because then I'll have to cut something again. So please be very careful that you are cutting the right template out of the right square. And this will be our last cut. One more. Almost there. All right, so today we're pretty much done what we're going to do. It's almost a good thing that our show was a bit shorter than normal. We had a good visit with Grandpa when he got here this morning. And next Friday, when we gather again, 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time, we are going to start sewing these curves. And that's what we'll spend the show doing, is sewing the curves. Did I lose a pin? There it is. So these are my D blocks. Let's pin this all together. So that's what we'll do next week. And then we will take the opportunity to also square a block so that you can see how I do that. So we'll join again next Friday for our Stash Buster series. Now, I've also been working on some individual block projects. Not projects per se, but I've been working with some new rulers, and they've got this really neat finished quilting idea where you don't have to measure much. You just have to use these add-ons onto your ruler. So watch for those videos. I'll be doing a block each day. And in the end, we're going to have a sampler and we'll put that all together. So keep your eyes open for that. We'll be back to the Be Bold quilt next Friday at 10:30 a.m. You're going to join us here on our Facebook page for that. If you want to see any of our prior projects, I'd like to invite you to visit us at sparrowquiltco.com. We've got a Stash Busters page, and it lists all the different projects that we've done. We began this back in January, and we did... What did we do first, Elle? Stay Centered, which was a log cabin style quilt. And then I think we did Almost Houndstooth, which was my take on a houndstooth quilt. We did, what else? Round the Rail, which is kind of a rail fence with a block around it. And I thought there was 4 we did. Undone, yes, another one by Sheila, who also designed this quilt. And it was a really cool disappearing 9 patch. And a double, yeah, it was disappearing 9 patch and a double disappearing 9 patch. And she laid them out in a really cool way to make a lattice type effect. So all those prior patterns are available on the website, and you can also still see all the videos that we made in order to coach you through those. But you would need the pattern in order to get all the numbers and all the important details. Would you like to pick me a winner, please, Miss L? Who? Carol Morris. Congratulations, Carol. You are the winner today for our ergonomic rotary cutter. So what I need from you, Carol, is to please send me a private message. Don't put it here on this video. Send us a private message with your name, your phone number, your email address, and your shipping address, and we will get that in the mail to you. But if you've not yet gotten your Be Bold pattern, then please visit us at sparrowquiltco.com. You're going to put in your name and your email, and we'll send you the pattern by email. And aside from that, guys, I think we're done for the day. So I'd like to wish you all a wonderful weekend. I hope you have lots of rest and sunshine wherever you may be, and lots of quilting too. All right, guys, take care. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.